So we're going to start here with the upper class. The upper class composes about 1% of the United States population and has two very distinct inner sets, not determined by money. This is very different than other determinations here. It is not determined by money, but by blood. They are called the blue bloods and the nouveau riche. What do they have in common? Their wealth ranges from over $1 million to billions of dollars. That's about it. So we're going to start here with the blue bloods. The blue bloods represent inherited wealth and often don't work a day in their life. They tend to live on investments and trust funds, so they don't tend to pay income tax. And of course, investment taxes have been cut down to 15%. They generally attend Ivy League universities and control and own most of corporate America. If working, they are generally presidents, senators, and judges. They are expected, even pressured, to participate in nationwide and/or global charities and foundations, which is expected to soften general impressions of them, but they show little participation in local communities and more friendships and participation in global blue blood wealth communities. Because those they have the most in common with are other blue bloods in the United States and other countries, they tend to spend heavily on travel to hang out with these friends, and many have purchased homes in other countries too. They are accustomed to wealth and envy, so they tend to look down severely on vulgar displays of wealth. They spend more classically and more privately, and their greatest share of spending tends to go to travel, luxurious automobiles, yachts, classic, elegant kind of homes, and private club memberships. The nouveau riche, this group composes the newly rich, like lottery winners, and those who gain it based on talent and luck, like celebrities and entrepreneurs. The nouveau riche tend to be severely looked down upon by blue bloods, even when they have more wealth. Their friendships largely are limited then to other nouveau riche over time, because they have a tendency to distrust the motives of lower class friendships and not be accepted by the blue bloods. But often they strive to join the blue bloods, for instance, maybe by marriage, mostly unsuccessfully. This kind of rebuff tends to psychologically lead to more vulgar displays of wealth, depending on things such as garish homes, enormous yachts, posh designer clothing, large staffs of, for instance, chefs, gardeners, nannies, maids, personal assistants, etc. Okay, what do you think? The mansion in Gone with the Wind would be an example of a blue blood or nouveau riche home. And the answer is blue blood. It's expensive but classic. What about Gatsby's mansion in The Great Gatsby? And the answer to that is nouveau riche. So expensive and garish. Now, there are two levels of middle classes in the United States, and these are based on wealth: lower middle class and upper middle class. So we're going to start with the upper, which composes about 15% of the United States population, and their nickname is the professionals. Income for this classification ranges from $85,000 to $999,000 for the classification of upper middle class. But almost everyone in the upper middle class is making somewhere between 85 and 250. Remember that we've got a big wage gap between the people who are really in this class and the next class up. Most within this upper middle class have graduate degrees. So we're talking doctors, lawyers, professors, upper management, etc., which is why they are called the professionals. And they tend to be career oriented. They tend to highly participate in their communities and community charities, and are often perceived as the highest social class in smaller towns and cities. Perceived to be, not obviously, but perceived to be. They have comfortable savings and retirement accounts. You're going to see this adjective change as we work our way down, right? But comfortable savings and retirement accounts. And consumption is conspicuous as far as their homes, cars, and travel, for instance, but not vulgar. So conspicuous but not vulgar, like nouveau riche, for instance, would be more vulgar. They have a keen interest in the better things in life, like fine dining, art, culture, fine wines, etc. The lower middle class composes about 30% of the United States population, and incomes range from 50,000 to 85,000, and their nickname is the semi-professionals. These individuals tend to be white-collar, lower-paid management. Until recently, this class included some highly paid highly paid for them, gained through seniority and specific task skill and efficiency. But the economy crash really changed this. The semi-professionals tend to have bachelor's degrees from public universities now and enjoy an average standard of living. Some participate in community and community charities, and they have a tendency to value religion. They tend to develop adequate savings and retirement accounts. Adequate. Spending is careful among this group. So that adjective is changing too, right? Spending is careful among this group. They tend to be value and price conscious and avoid fads and hot styles.